Help us decide what the best in wrestling 2017 was by voting for the Friendo Awards now by going to the SurveyMonkey link in the description.
Hey, Friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome to the Friendo Awards 2017 nominations video. We're blowing it all up, Larson. We're blowing every single one of them up.
Take those glasses off. I can't stand glasses, Steve.
You can't stand glasses?
No.
You have a problem with people who wear glasses?
No, I have a problem when you wear those glasses.
You know, I used to wear them legitimately.
I know.
And then they shot lasers into my eyes, and I didn't need them anymore.
It's too bad when they shot lasers into your eyes, it didn't give you the power of shooting lasers from your eyes. Nonetheless, that's not why we're here. We're here today to talk about the best pro wrestling had to offer in 2017 as determined by the best community on YouTube, on internet. I'm talking about the Friendos, of course. Every year, well, at least for 2 years, this is the second year, we offer up nominees for you to vote on. You vote on the winners of the Friendo Awards, each category.
Yeah. First up, our first category is Breakout Star of 2017.
Yeah.
Man, this was a breakout year for a lot of people. But here are the people that stood out to us as having the most breakingest out of years.
Yeah, who broke out the most.
Right. Number one, Tim Storm.
He's
a good 78 years old.
But he was the NWA champion when Billy Corgan bought the company.
Yeah.
And they did a video series called 10 Pounds of Gold.
Right.
And he was featured in it.
I love gold.
His name became quite a bit more familiar with wrestling audiences around the world thanks to that web series. Breakout year for Tim Storm. Unfortunately, he has lost the NWA title to Nick Aldis.
In a match that went over like a wet fart.
Just recently, but you know, here's hoping that Tim Storm gets it back. It's already been a good year for Tim Storm.
He might have a rematch by the time the end of the year happens.
True.
Next up, Keith Lee. Tell us about Keith Lee.
Keith Lee. So he was the subject of write-ups from ESPN in March, April, from Forbes. He's been wrestling for a little bit. But it seemed like 2017, it was the year that he really took a huge step forward.
A lot of people, talking about
enhancing his visibility on the independent scene. He made his Pro Wrestling Guerrilla debut earlier this year. He is the current WWN champion. We got to see him take on Walter. Night 2 of Battle of Los Angeles. Yes.
Hoss match.
He does some spectacular stuff.
Well, he's part of this class of high-profile Indy Hosses. Jeff Cobb, Brian Cage. I mean, he's been around for a little while, but there's a lot of Walter. There's a lot of these high-profile Indy Hosses who are doing things that we haven't seen Hosses do before, and it's exciting to see big men like this. We've seen a couple come up to WWE already. Killian Dane, Cash Sono made his return to WWE this year, and so it's an exciting new crop of Hosses who do more than just sort of lumber about and just do power moves.
Yeah.
They're doing more athletic things. They're doing interesting things with the typical Hoss oeuvre.
Yeah.
Look at me and my vocab
Well
words.
said. Next, Toni Storm.
Love Toni Storm.
She's great.
Look, man, she came to the main. We saw her at a Progress show
in Orlando over WrestleMania weekend take on Jenny Couture.
Yeah.
Impressed the heck out of us.
Then we found out she was going to be. She was actually sort of one of the feature. In all the promotional materials for the Mae Young Classic, the WWE Mae Young Classic, she was always featured front and center. She made it all the way to the semifinals and lost to Kairi Sane. I think it was Kairi Sane. And but you know, in doing so, in just being there in the Mae Young Classic, putting on these fantastic matches, having her signature hip attack, and just, you know, oozing with charisma, she really won over the hearts and minds of a lot of wrestling fans that tune into the Mae Young Classic. And now she's a huge star in the indie level. She was before, but she's even more so now.
Yeah, she is currently the Progress Women's Champion. She holds 2 titles in Stardom right now.
Yeah,
the World of Stardom Championship as well as the SWA World Championship.
A lot of people are asking, why hasn't Toni Storm been signed to NXT?
She's only 22 years old.
She's only 22 years old. Give it time. Within, I will almost guarantee this year, or next year rather, 2018, we'll see her signed to NXT. But if not, it's going to be within
next 3 years.
Next 3 years for sure.
She's great.
Yeah, she's fantastic. Next, the Velveteen Dream, Dream.
Yeah, Patrick Clark. He had made some previous appearances in NXT under a variety of gimmicks, and then we heard that he was doing a kind of Prince-inspired gimmick.
Yeah,
and then we went to a house show here in Sacramento where he had a match. And I think it was our first exposure to it. And I think even back then, when it wasn't quite fully formed yet, we both saw it. I was like, okay,
This is good stuff.
this can go places.
Yeah.
And then it debuted on television. It seems like week after week, he's becoming more comfortable with that character, finding new ways to bring complexity to that character.
Right.
And his feud against Aleister Black, as you'll see later on, is one of the best of the year.
Absolutely, yeah. This kid is super, super athletic. His elbow drop is one of the best in the business right now.
Rainmaker.
The Purple Rainmaker is one of the best in the business. And yeah, I'm really, really looking forward.
And he's also very young.
And he's also very young, exactly. And finally, the bad boy, Joey Janela.
Yeah.
We got to see him live at PWG, put on a show-stealing match at Battle of LA Night 2 against Sammy Guevara. Again, Sammy Guevara could be the breakout star of 2018.
Yes.
I think he's going to have a huge next year. Joey Janela over over WrestleMania weekend. He had Joey Janela Spring Break where he's putting on a show. He's going to do the same thing again this year or next year.
He was the subject of an article from ESPN recently, November 27th.
Right.
So he's getting some mainstream exposure.
He puts on wrestling matches against invisible people. So it's pretty awesome. It's pretty great. Anyways, great crop.
Yes.
Of breakout stars 2017.
Agreed.
I really love that Tim Storm's in there. Next up, we've got Best Promotion. Yeah. New Japan Pro Wrestling. They had a great year.
I mean,
New Japan Pro Wrestling.
yeah, I mean, they put on the best matches.
Ring.
Week in, week out. Best matches in the world are generally happening in New Japan Pro Wrestling, if not Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. But we'll get to that in a little bit.
Ring of Honor.
They have made huge strides this year, thanks to their association with Bullet Club and New Japan. They've made huge strides. They got their largest crowd ever at their Supercard of Honor show, Orlando WrestleMania weekend, over 3,500 people.
Sounds like they might be teaming up with Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks to co-promote or co-produce or whatever a 10,000 person show
Potentially.
Yeah,
sometime next year.
2018.
They're heading in the right direction.
The thing that I like about Ring of Honor as well, I mean, like, it's Ring of Honor. They've been around forever. They're great. They're like a farm for amazing stars. But they haven't let the Bullet Club thing overwhelm what Ring of Honor is. It'd be very easy to sort of treat this like an NWO situation and just everything. But you've got guys like Dalton Castle, who also had a huge year. Yeah, guys like
Jay Lethal,
another great year for him. The Briscoes. So they haven't let Bullet Club, which could so easily sort of take over and take the spotlight all the time. They didn't let that happen. Cody Rhodes is, yes, the world champion, but I'm looking forward to Final Battle. They should be having a great match.
We should also mention the Hardy.
Hardy's
battle
right.
against the Young Bucks earlier this year.
That's right. That was fantastic as well. They had Christopher Daniels finally reached world champion status, kind of, swerving the Bullet Club with his own friend Frankie Kazarian. Again, not letting Bullet Club get the best of everybody like we saw before.
Yes, with the NWO and WCW. Correct.
Exactly. It'd be really easy to let that happen, but they didn't.
Yes. Next, Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. The best independent promotion in the States.
It's not just the best, it's the best live wrestling experience you will ever have. I say that having gone to New Japan, having been to WWE Progress show. Pro Wrestling Guerrilla it's like a small wrestling community of just fans who are in love with the sport, with the entertainment. It's sweaty, it is crowded, it is
exhilarating.
It is exhilarating. It is amazing. It is community wrestling. It's fantastic.
Nowhere else in the world can you see Kenny Omega selling T-shirts before the show.
You're so tickled by that.
It was fascinating to watch.
They all just hang out in the ring and sell
their
wares.
shirts.
I know
it's great.
It's fantastic. So can't say enough great things about Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. They continually put on some of the best matches, some of the best shows every single year of actual wrestling. WWE.
We didn't really say anything about them.
Without them, we wouldn't have a job.
Yeah.
Progress.
So our exposure to Progress has been relatively limited, but what we've seen, we've been impressed by. I went to the show in Orlando.
Yeah.
They are the home base, at least for now. Some of the most exciting wrestlers in the world right now. Talking about British strong style.
Absolutely, yes.
Why they have not made the jump full time to WWE, I don't know. But thankfully, they get to wrestle in Progress and put on amazing matches. So I guess we may not see Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate, and Trent Seven on WWE television on a regular basis, but at least it's good to know that we can still see them in Progress do their stuff.
I'm like this close. I was going to do it this past weekend. Want to get their streaming service.
And I got to say, Progress going to have a huge 2018. They got that show in Wembley Arena coming up.
That's right.
That's going to be massive for them.
And I have a gut feeling that we're going to see some more WWE stuff. Some sort of commingling of some sort. That has to happen at some point. Next category, Tag Team of the Year. Yeah, so that's when 2 people or 3 people sometimes all get together and they form a team.
Exactly.
And
then they participate in matches where you tag in your teammate to wrestle, and you tag in and out, take turns wrestling.
First team, the New Day.
The New Day.
In this case, there are 3 of them, but only usually 2 of them fight at the same time.
Correct. I mean,
they fought the Shield this year.
They had one of the best feuds of the year against the Usos.
They completed their record-breaking tag team WWE tag team reign this year. 100 days.
Yeah, a lot of 400 days.
Yeah, 400 and more days.
400 more days.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, I believe Kofi was hurt, so they couldn't wrestle at WrestleMania. I think that's who was hurt.
Oh, they hosted, though.
They did host.
Yeah, they did a great job hosting.
WrestleMania, yeah. They got moved over to SmackDown during the course of this year. Very quickly won the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Again, in an awesome feud against the Usos. We'll get to more on that later. And we heard this year that Vince wants the New Day to go down in history as the greatest tag team of all time.
They are such an elite level in terms of being an entertaining act. They're up there with Cena, Ty Dillinger, and what was that guy that Moshes in NXT? Insanity.
Oh, Alexander Wolf.
Yeah, exactly. They're
Next.
all there with him. The Usos. So you couldn't really have one without the other this year. The Usos had a breakthrough year. In my personal eyes, I was never a huge fan of them, just as faces. I thought they added a ton of depth, complexity, and my God, these guys put on some of the best matches in tag team wrestling this year against the New Day.
Yeah.
Hell in a Cell was a super standout. It was their blow-off. But, man, even preceding that, every single time they got into it with the New Day.
The rap battle with the New Day was outstanding.
It was absolutely fantastic. So hats off to the New Day. They're up for Tag Team of the Year. The Young Bucks are up for Tag Team of the Year.
Yeah, that's going to be a perennial nomination, I feel like, with the Young Bucks. They had 3 incredible matches against Roppongi Vice this year. First at Wrestle Kingdom, where they retained the junior heavyweight tag titles. Again at Dominion, where they lost them to Roppongi Vice. And then again at G1 Special in USA Night 2, where they reclaimed the junior heavyweight tag team titles. We were there. We witnessed it. Awesome match.
Look, aside from...
Where Trent stole your picture.
Yeah, aside from all their accomplishments in the ring, there is no other act on the independent circuit that has done as much for themselves as a business, building their own brand, than the Young Bucks. You look at their pro wrestling tees, their merch, their viral hit being the Elite series on YouTube. They have done everything that every independent wrestler can look at. They have laid down the blueprint as far as how to make it in the wrestling business as an independent act. You kill it in the ring, you kill it outside of the ring with creativity, with inspiration. The Young Bucks are everything that there is to love about independent wrestling and just pro wrestling in general. So yeah, they're going to be in this category pretty much perpetually. War Machine.
Yeah, we didn't really know that much about them, and they've only been together as a team for 3 years.
Oh, wow.
But they made a huge splash this year in New Japan, winning the IWGP Tag Team titles twice. First from Tenzan and Kojima.
Yeah.
And then again from Guerrillas of Destiny at G1 Special in USA Night 1.
Guerrillas of Destiny could have been up for this category as well. But War Machine, again, a couple of big men. One of them is like a super hoss.
Yeah, but he can fly.
He does super things.
Yeah.
Exactly. He can fly. War Machine, more recently, they've been on the Twitter trying to get their hashtag hanging with War Machine trending because of Michael Elgin's comments about Jeff Cobb. He just spends his time hanging with War Machine. And so they do hashtag hanging with War Machine, and it's like pictures of people hanging out with War Machine. They're great. They're fantastic. Oh man, I want to see. I haven't seen any of their the matches after Elgin's comments got leaked. His interaction with Jeff Cobb and then War Machine, who apparently were just like ripping him a new one in the ring after all that went down. Yeah, I got to watch some of that stuff. Next up, Sheamus and Cesaro.
Do.
Hey, look, man, We kind of thought they were on the fast track to nowhere individually before they teamed up, before they had their big series, and then ended up teaming up. This year they had one of the best tag team years
of anybody
in the WWE. They had multiple time. They were multiple time WWE tag champions. They're a lot of fun to watch in the ring. Sheamus might have some nasty spinal injury at the moment, but hopefully he'll. Do you recover from that? Is that something you recover from?
I think he just rehabs to keep it kind of at bay.
Oh my gosh!
So far, Sheamus and Cesaro have been 3-time tag champions. They had 2 really good feuds so far this year. First against the Hardys, following WrestleMania 33, and most recently against the Shield. They currently hold those Raw Tag Team Championships, and I imagine they'll hold those probably to the Rumble.
Yeah, I could see that. As many times as we kind of figured we'd write these guys off, WWE keeps on booking them strong. And
I know. We thought they would have broken up at least 4 times so far this year.
Yeah, exactly.
Hasn't happened yet.
Hasn't happened. Next category. Spot of the year.
Yeah.
This is sort of like some moment that just made our eyebrows go, what the heck was that?
Or laugh, or made us super impressed, or a combination of all.
Or made us cry in this last one.
Yeah.
But first up, for Spot of the Year, the nominees are Marcus Everett's table spot.
So this, I think the term is went viral.
Otherwise known as the dude who missed the table.
Yeah, on Twitter, is in a high school gym or something. There was a wrestler set up on a table. Another wrestler climbed up to like the structure of the high school gymnasium, leapt from a support beam of some sort, only to miss the table entirely and land on the floor.
Did a elbow drop just to the floor.
Just to the floor.
And it was just concrete, man. It wasn't even a mat. It was just concrete.
Yeah.
It was gym floor. Anyways, Marcus Everett seemed to come out of it okay. Gave a couple of interviews, said that he didn't, he just sort of bruised a little bit. Of course, it was one of the most popular. This is like Botchamania, Supreme right here. This is like probably #1 Botchamania clip.
Yeah.
Was this stuff. Everybody was talking about it. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
And thank God the guy didn't die.
Yeah, thankfully he's fine.
Yeah. #2, Spot of the Year.
Plancha onto nothing.
It was great. Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, check it out.
#3, Spot of the Year. Braun flips over an ambulance.
I mean, it's just impressive.
Yeah, it was actually
Roman Reigns
really
was inside too.
Yeah, and we all know that Braun actually did that.
Yeah, he actually did that. And Roman Reigns was actually inside.
And he actually was inside, exactly. #4, Spot of the Year. Kota Ibushi's second rope pile driver.
Yeah, I know second rope pile drivers aren't that rare.
This is just hilarious.
But it was like vicious.
Yeah, I know. It was great. It was like it was one of those I did not expect that to happen.
Yeah. It was something else.
Finally, the last nominee for Spot of the Year, Shibata's headbutt that ended his career and really damaged his brain.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I called that one like immediately.
You did.
I did.
At the time, it was such a striking visual image.
No, it was, yeah.
And it was so well directed. That was like, wow.
But then when
that's some impressive storytelling. And after the fact, I learned that he actually damaged his brain and has to retire because of it.
When you think about it, it's like, no, they're not superhuman, man. They're just human.
They're just people.
And he literally cracked himself open with that. Oh, that's so bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was, and then that led to his return at King of Pro. No. One of the shows. Mm-hmm. He came. It was the G1. It was the G1
yeah,
final.
Yeah, G1 final.
Something like that.
Yeah, G1 finals.
And he said, hello, everybody. I'm alive. I'm good. Not going to wrestle again, but New Japan will find something.
He might do some training.
Yeah.
I heard, which would be great.
Next category, Feud of the Year. Our nominees are Kenny Omega versus Kazuchika Okada.
Put on 3 of the greatest matches of all time.
Of all time during the year.
During the year. One year. And, feuds in New Japan aren't built up the same way they are in WWE. Nonetheless, every match had intensity. There was passion behind everything, and there was purpose behind everything. Some fantastic storytelling.
And each match had its own purpose, its own beginning, middle, and end. None of the matches repeated the same ground. They didn't go over the same territory.
But as a whole, they formed a wonderful story.
Exactly.
Put together.
#2, Feud of the Year. I shouldn't say #2. The next nominee is Velveteen Dream versus Aleister Black. A personal favorite. NXT is my personal favorite wrestling show. I love the simplicity of this feud. They built it in a very simple but compelling way. And the blow-off match, what we think is a blow-off match, at this past NXT TakeOver, War Games
Was phenomenal.
was absolutely phenomenal. They did a lot of stuff that just reminded me, holy crap, pro wrestling can be really, really neat.
It can. The story was very simple, but the character work throughout was outstanding.
Exactly. Next nominee, The New Day versus the Usos.
We spoke about this briefly. We had some great moments. We had the rap battle between them, outstanding. The birth of the Usos Penitentiary happened during this match, and of course their blow off, a fantastic match in Hell in a Cell. Some really creative spots we had never seen before.
Yep.
After which, when the Usos won, the Usos and the New Day shook hands in a sign of respect and said truce.
They had a trousseau.
An truce.
An truce. Next, Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman.
Early in the year, this was like miles ahead.
Yeah, it really was.
A Feud of the Year, because after what was the pay-per-view after Rumble? I can't remember what it is offhand. It's not Fastlane. Maybe it was Fastlane. Anyways, Reigns won that match. Subsequently, from then till August, Braun Strowman dominated Roman Reigns.
Yeah, pretty much.
In usually wildly entertaining manners, like putting him in a gurney and throwing him off a stage, putting that gurney in the ambulance and tossing the ambulance over.
Yep.
They had a really good last man standing match at Payback that we saw live. Tons of fun. Braun Strowman's great, and he managed to get himself over huge during this feud with Roman Reigns.
They had really fantastic chemistry together in the ring, being booked like two monsters. It was great. It went a long way towards building Roman for this huge Brock match at WrestleMania.
It's gone a long way to building up Braun as a legitimate contender for the Universal title in his own right. It's really one of those feuds where everybody won.
Final nominee, WWE versus Bullet Club. So, yeah, WWE really doesn't like Bullet Club because they're really cool.
Yeah, WWE wants to be cool, but they're not cool.
So WWE, they're not cool. Not cool, number one. They sent out a cease and desist to the Young Bucks for throwing up too sweets and using the term too sweet on the merchandise.
But also the phrase suck it.
Yeah.
They can't do that anymore.
Yeah, well, the too sweet thing is especially egregious because it's kind of obvious WWE has zero legal ground to stand on. And so, but the Young Bucks aren't going to fight it in court because who wants to spend a bunch of money on lawyers?
Well, Young Bucks, you know, they're smart enough to parlay the whole situation to a money-making endeavor for themselves, which they've done. They've done cease and desist shirts. And
yeah, they also realize that it's smarter for them not just to do that, but to make people realize, you know what, like we're not. This isn't a crutch of ours that we're standing on. It's something that we do in addition to everything else. That's, you know, that accentuates what we do. We can get rid of it and still be as popular and more popular than we've ever been, and that's what they've done. They also WWE fired Jimmy Jacobs after taking a picture with
during the Bullet Club invasion of I believe SmackDown, Ontario, California.
That's right. So kind of an interesting thing to keep an eye on.
Oh, and that, by the way, that's a real feud.
Yeah, that's an actual feud.
That's a real feud.
It really happened. Next category, most shocking moment. Number one, Tommaso Ciampa turns on his tag team partner, Johnny Gargano.
Of course, this happened at the conclusion of NXT TakeOver Chicago during a ladder match between DIY and Authors of Pain. DIY lost the match. Both Gargano and Ciampa seem distraught over the loss. They walk up the ramp in a moment kind of similar to their moment at the end of their 205 Live match, kind of arm in arm.
Cruiserweight Classic match.
Sorry, what did I say?
205 Live.
Sorry, well,
yeah, same thing.
Wasn't that far off. Only for Ciampa to whisper something at Gargano's ear and then throw him into the LED panel on the stage and then continue to beat the heck out of him.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Ciampa was injured during the TakeOver match. And so apart from a promo from him and Johnny Gargano, they haven't done a whole lot directly to build fuel for what will probably be a contender for Feud of the Year 2018.
They've done a brilliant job of building the story in Ciampa's absence. Johnny Gargano is being rocketed to the top of NXT, but in the meantime, there's this issue of can he psychologically get over what Tommaso Ciampa did to him?
The ghost of DIY is ever present.
Exactly, it's really fascinating stuff. Next in the most shocking moment category, Great Khali returns to the Punjabi prison match. It was absolutely weird.
It was weird. He lumbers out, kind of helps Jinder win. Yeah, it was not that surprising because I think we kind of heard someone might help Jinder, but nonetheless.
I thought I'd do well into the pay-per-view. I still heard the rumors. I was like, that's not going to happen.
And then it did. Steve
totally
was shocked.
happened. I was very shocked.
Give me a shocked Steve face. Yeah. I don't think it's quite like that, but.
Next.
Next.
Oh, like this?
There you go.
Okay, sorry. Sexy Star shoots on Rosemary at Triple Mania.
Yeah, Triple Mania.
Yeah.
So early reports had a Sexy Star dislocating Rosemary's arm. It doesn't seem like it was that bad.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, Sexy Star definitely seemed to have gone to business for herself.
Yeah.
And shoot on Rosemary.
Evidently, the one person who wasn't shooting on her during that match, because it was a fatal four-way, I believe, and the other two gals were beating up on Sexy Star. According to Sexy Star, they were going stiff on her. And then at the very end of the match, she made Rosemary tap out and then went after her shoulder and like dislocated it. So, yeah, it's been kind of an interesting and weird situation with Sexy Star. Most shocking moment next.
Number 4.
Hardy's return to WrestleMania 33.
No, we'd heard word this might happen. In fact, the Hardys had a a match at Supercard of Honor, with Ring of Honor against the Young Bucks. Just, I believe, the night before, right?
Yeah.
And then the morning of WrestleMania, they had a meet and greet autograph session in Orlando that people thought, well, it kind of butts up right against the start of WrestleMania. You know, who knows if they'll be there. At the start of this ladder match at WrestleMania, New Day come out and said, well, there's another team that's going to participate, and they act like at first it's going to be them, and then the Hardy Boys music hits.
Yep.
That stadium just erupted
crazy
in applause and cheers.
We were there. We got to see it live.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
It's pretty amazing.
Yep. Next category.
No, we got one more.
I'm sorry, one more. Yeah, final. Most shocking moment. Jericho goes to New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Yeah, that was super shocking.
Oh, my gosh. So he appeared in a video message. Everybody was wondering who's Kenny Omega going to face at Wrestle Kingdom. Chris Jericho appeared in a video package.
King of Pro Wrestling.
And threw down a challenge to Kenny Omega because Kenny Omega had issued a challenge to anybody. He started challenging audience members. Chris Jericho shows up. He has a picture of Kenny Omega. He rips up the picture, thereby symbolizing "I challenge you."
Yeah, well, then he says, "I challenge you." Wrestle Kingdom Alpha versus Omega.
Yeah.
And just this past weekend, we're shooting this well in advance of Christmas. Sorry. At the finals for the World Tag League, Chris Jericho makes an appearance and lays out Kenny Omega and busts him open.
Oh, yeah. Brutal. Demonetized.
Yeah, pretty brutal.
Yeah, pretty awesome. So this is going to be a fantastic match. I'm looking forward to seeing what Chris Jericho will do without the WWE shackles.
Well, I mean, if
lots of blood.
Yeah.
Next category. We'll run through these pretty quick because their names kind of speak for themselves. Male Wrestler of the Year. Number 1, Kenny Omega.
Put on 3 of the best matches of all time.
No, number 2, Kazuchika Okada.
Put on 3 of the greatest matches of all time, plus a bunch of other awesome matches this year.
Minoru Suzuki, Shibata,
Evil, Bad Luck Fale, Kota Ibushi as Tiger Mask W.
Yeah.
He was number 1 on PWI's 500 this year.
He even got a great match out of Cody Rhodes at G1 Special in USA.
Yep.
What a great year for wrestling. We've had a great year.
It's been a fantastic year.
Yeah. Number 3, AJ Styles.
Best wrestler in WWE.
He might be the best wrestler in the world.
Got the WWE title from Jinder Mahal. Pulled an excellent match out of Brock Lesnar. The best match Brock Lesnar's probably had since his first run in WWE.
Yep. He's really established SmackDown as his brand.
Yep.
Number 4, Neville.
He was doing awesome work up until he apparently left WWE earlier this year. But before then, man, he really put 205 Live on the map.
Oh, yeah.
Carried that brand.
Oh, yeah, big time.
Only to eventually leave. It's a bummer. Hopefully he'll come back.
Number 5, Ricochet.
Ricochet, the first man to ever win Battle of Los Angeles twice. Then went on to at the next show, claimed the PWG World title for himself, beat Chuck. Held the junior heavyweight tag titles in New Japan with Taguchi. I think he might have also had Lucha Underground's title earlier this year.
Okay, all right.
Since they taped so far in advance, that's hard to remember.
Ricochet is the coolest looking wrestler on the planet.
Yeah.
And he's one of the most fun wrestlers on the planet to watch.
And he'd be the hottest free agent in 2018.
Well, he's not going to be a free agent very long.
No. But he will be a free agent, at least briefly.
Next category. Women's Wrestler of the Year. Number 1, Asuka. She's like the Bruno of our times.
Yeah.
Especially for women's wrestling.
Yeah.
She went on a 500-day...
undefeated streak and held the belt for 500 days or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
She hasn't ever lost ever since I've known her. Or known of her, rather.
Yeah.
And right now, she's on Raw. Still hasn't been beaten.
Probably won't be for a while.
Probably won't be for a while. Number 2, Alexa Bliss became the first woman in history to hold both the Women's Raw title and the Women's SmackDown title in the WWE in the modern era of the brand split.
She also held both belts this year.
That's right. Yeah. So she's really she's quickly establishing herself as a cornerstone foundational player. Her wrestling skills themselves may not be up to par like with Charlotte, Asuka, Becky Lynch, a couple others. However, in terms of establishing herself, going from where she went, sort of NXT, not really a major player in the women's division, up to the main roster, just completely dominating.
Yeah, it's been an impressive career trajectory so far.
It's been fun to watch. Next, Kairi Sane.
The winner of the first ever Mae Young Classic. Made a huge impression on the WWE Universe this year. She did not claim the NXT Women's title in the fatal four-way match at War Games, but she seems a shoo-in to claim that title at least some point in the next year or two.
Absolutely. And we've already talked about, next up, Sienna. You know what? I was watching Impact Wrestling for a good chunk of this year, and I was very impressed with Sienna. Sienna comes off, she's like one of the most... Number one, she's the best wrestler. She's the best women's wrestler. She's one of the best wrestlers they have, but also definitely the best women's wrestler they have. And she's just established herself as a dominant personality in their women's division. She doesn't have the title right now. She lost it to Gail Kim for whatever reason. Look, man, you can't fight their booking that long. You know, they put on Gail Kim. She immediately vacated it.
She was retiring.
Yeah, she was retiring, but I think she might still wrestle
she did.
match.
She had some indie dates.
Yeah. So, you know,
she was tired of Impact.
What are you gonna do? Anyway, Sienna, I thought she was a huge standout. She's one of the top three people, in my opinion, on Impact Wrestling. The other two being Moose and I don't know, probably EC3.
Okay,
yeah. And finally, Toni Storm. We talked about her during the breakout wrestler category.
Next, match of the year. Now, it would have been we only have 5 nominees per category.
Yeah.
So we could have easily had 3 of them be the individual matches from Kenny Omega and Kazuchika Okada's trilogy. Instead, we combined them into one entry. So your first nominee is the Omega Okada trilogy.
Yeah, this should actually sweep this category. There should be no votes for any of the other matches. But if you have, predilections for the other matches.
Some people might not have seen any of them yet.
Oh, okay, that's a good point. That's your only excuse.
There you go.
Next, Tyler Bate versus Pete Dunne, NXT
This was
TakeOver
a really
Chicago.
good match, though, in its own right, man.
In my personal opinion, this is the best match that was in the WWE umbrella. All year. I thought this was just an absolutely stellar clinic in pro wrestling. It was fantastic.
Tons of fun. Pete Dunne won the UK title.
Next, DIY versus the Revival versus the Authors of Pain at NXT TakeOver Orlando.
We saw this live. It was great.
It was amazing. Again, a clinic in tag team wrestling.
But also a clinic in storytelling, in-ring storytelling.
Absolutely.
Just great stuff.
Yeah, this is really great. Next, the Universal title match of SummerSlam 2017. This was the big monster fatal four-way.
Oh, man, it was so much fun.
Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, Samoa Joe, Braun Strowman. This was, in my opinion, the most fun match on main roster of the year.
Yeah.
Really, really fun match.
One of the few times that Brock Lesnar ever showed actual vulnerability.
Yeah.
After, of course, he took 2 power slams through announce tables and had an announce table dumped on top of him.
This was so much fun.
It was tons of fun.
And finally, Asuka versus Ember Moon at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3. If at any time during her streak Asuka was going to lose, it was going to be this match. She pulled it off.
She kicked out of the Eclipse.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Both these women put on an absolutely fantastic match. Probably my favorite WWE women's match of the year. It's in there for match of the year. So those are your choices. And finally.
Well, let's not get into the nominees. I want to save that for actual debate. Or do you want to name the nominees right now?
Yeah, man. We're going to name our nominees.
All right, we'll debate and we'll induct.
Okay.
This year's class, the Going in Raw Hall of Fame, we announced the winners.
So yeah,
of the Friendo Awards.
Right. These are the nominees. How many of these are actually going to get in?
Well, we have to debate that.
Oh, okay.
Or we do the first ballot.
Oh, okay. So this is what we do.
We do a blind ballot at first, and then
explain that to the people.
Okay, this is how we do. We do a blind ballot first. We write down all the nominees and yes or no next to them, and the ones we agree on immediately, they're automatically in.
Yeah.
Those that we differed on, if we agree on people, they're in. If we agree they get in individually, they get in. If we agree that they do not get in,
they do not get
they're
in.
out of contention. Any wrestlers we differ on, we debate.
If Larson wants one of these people in and I don't, we debate that, and vice versa.
Yes.
Until one of the people,
relents.
and then we compromise. If there's, if I have two people I want in and that you don't want those two people in, but you have two people that you want in and I don't want them in, then we usually comrise and okay, well, who gets in, who doesn't.
Last year, I believe, was a 4-person class, headlined by CM Punk.
That's right. That's right.
So we really have. Well, there's additional criteria to this. Of course, the criteria is always being good, legacy, kayfabe.
But the biggest criteria is you can't be in the WWE Hall of Fame yet.
Correct.
However, if you didn't get in last year, you can still be nominated the next year.
But we can address that rule.
There should be a limit to the number of times you can be nominated.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
3 years.
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. All right.
The nominees this year are Chyna. She should have got in last year.
No, she did pornography.
Oh, my God.
If you Google her name, pornography comes out. Lex Luger. He should definitely got in. He had a better career than DDP, and he got in last year.
Not true. Next, The Undertaker. He's probably retired. He's not in WWE Hall of Fame yet.
Those are all good points.
Yeah. Next,
The Rock. Studios aren't going to let him wrestle anymore, so he's definitely retired.
Next, Raven. I'm not sure how he wasn't a nominee last year. We nominated Shane Douglas, but not Raven. That's weird.
Oh, because I like Shane Douglas a lot.
I like Raven a lot.
Well, you should have said something.
Well, I did now.
Okay, well, good job. Next, Scott Steiner, you fat bastard.
We could take our time putting him in the Going in Raw Hall of Fame because he's not going to WWE Hall of Fame anytime
No, he's not.
soon.
This year, he opened a Shoney's.
Well, he's manager of it. Does he own it? Or is he just a manager?
Dude, he showed up in a freaking... he doesn't just manage it.
Oh, he owns it. That's right.
He owns it. He showed up with the bulldozer
he
and
just
stuff.
managed it. Next, Captain Charisma himself.
He's the assistant manager at Shoney's.
Christian!
Yeah, he's not getting in. I'm not going to let this one happen.
He had a great career, though.
I'm not going to let this one happen. Next, Goldberg.
He's probably retired, too.
Yeah, maybe. That's a big... If he doesn't get in, it's because this is a big fat question mark.
Yeah.
Next, RVD. Now, we know for a fact he's not going to be wrestling for the WWE anymore. There's a good chance he'll make it to the WWE Hall of Fame.
At some point, yeah.
I like RVD. I like
but
this.
we can get him in first. It's our Hall of Fame.
That's true, exactly. Yeah,
and lastly,
Jeff Jarrett. There is no chance in the hell he's going to get into our Hall of Fame, but it'll be a lot of fun to talk about it.
Yes, it will.
Exactly. Anyways, those are the nominees. Go to the description down below. You guys can go and vote.
Yes, please.
And we'll have your winners announced on
January 6th.
Good job. Well, you had that loaded up. Nice. Anyways, that's it for now. Until next time, we'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.